Women love narcissists. Regardless of what they say, they absolutely love narcissists until they don't, right? Like many of you, I've seen on social media, dating and relationship content, and I've seen the comment section of women all saying how they've dated a narcissist and they've hated their ex as a narcissist, the guy who they fell in love with is a narcissist, yada, yada, yada. So what I want to do in this video is kind of give you a peek behind the curtain of what's going on, okay? Because the first thing we have to address is the fact that when women say that they dated a narcissist, they're not talking about a real narcissist, right? They may be talking about someone who's narcissistic, has narcissistic traits, which is kind of celebrated here in the West, but they weren't dating an actual narcissist. So what's going on here? Well, I have this concept called spark and safety. There's two sides of attraction, right? Spark and safety. Real quick, spark is anything that makes a woman feel excited, like it spikes their emotions. So men who are charming, men who are confident, men who are charismatic, men who are socially calibrated and know how to work a room socially, men who are sure of themselves, men who are good at flirtation, right? Men who have boundaries and self-respect. These are things that create spark with a woman. It makes her actually deeply desire you, right? Now, the other side is safety. Safety is basically anything that makes a woman feel protected and cared for, right? So emotional intelligence creates safety. Empathy creates safety. Doing kind and nice gestures creates safety, right? Showing a woman that you love her and you care for her creates safety, right? So these are the two sides of attraction that many people don't understand. Now, when you understand this, it becomes very clear why narcissists are obviously getting a lot of women, right? So when you look at the comment section, you see a lot of women saying they dealt with narcissists. So there's obviously a pattern of men that women call narcissists being very successful in the dating marketplace. And when you understand the spark and safety concept, it completely reveals the reason why. And their reason why is the men who these women are talking about are men who create spark and not safety. You understand? Really think about what that means. You have a man who's charming. You have a man who is courageous. You have a man who sets boundaries, who flirts, who isn't afraid of expressing himself, right? And this makes a woman like weaken her knees. But he does not check the box of safety. He's not present. He's not cultivating intimacy. He's not emotionally available, right? And that creates the perception that he is a narcissist. Because men who offer spark and no safety tend to be very effective at attracting a lot of women. They do very well when it comes to dating. They bring a lot of women in. But the problem is women also require safety in long-term relationships. So a man who's offering spark and no safety is going to create an experience where he's able to get a lot of women, but he can't keep a lot of women, right? Women don't stay. Because if you don't offer women safety, they will leave eventually. It's absolutely a requirement for them, right? Now, a lot of men have issues with this because they look at themselves and they're like, well, I'm not a narcissist, right? I'm a kind gentleman. I'm a chivalrous individual. Why are these guys getting all the women, but I have a struggle even getting a date? Here's the issue. Men who create safety and no spark are going to have a very hard time attracting women. They're not going to be able to bring any women into the funnel. It's going to be very hard for them to get a girlfriend. It's going to be very hard for them to get dates. Or if they do get dates, it's going to be very hard for them to get second and third dates because women also require spark. They need that. It provides the thrill. It provides excitement, right? It gets their emotions going, right? Because one thing that you have to understand about women is like their default setting is boredom typically. They're very sensitive to being bored. They're more sensitive to being bored than men are, right? Man could be bored, do the same thing every day and be cool with it. A woman can't do that. That's why you see women going in debt, literally to go travel, right? They need something to spike their emotions. And the guys who they call narcissists are very good at doing that. Now, The guys who only provide safety, typically the only time they will get a woman is if they're dealing with a woman who's in the phase of life where she prioritizes safety. This could be because she has multiple children and she now needs a provider. It could be because she's a bit older and now she's already, had all her fun and now she wants actual commitment, right? So she's prioritizing safety. It could be just a temperament thing. There are some women who just like consistency. So they go after the guys who create safety but not allow to spark, right? But these men typically don't get the type of women they want because they're not offering the experience that women are drawn to. Now, the beautiful thing about this whole narcissist conversation, it gives us a bit of insight, right? You're a perceptive and discerning individual and you understand spark and safety. You realize that women seem to need both spark and safety. The guys who they've been dealing with only offer spark. The guys who they don't want to deal with only offer safety. Maybe if I blend both spark and safety, I can get the benefits of the narcissistic men without having the downsides of creating a volatile experience that kind of pushes women away over time. And if you came to that conclusion on your own, congratulations, because that's exactly the case. If you are a man, whether you're a narcissistic man who is good at creating spark but not safety, or you're a good guy who creates safety and not spark, the idea to drastically increase your success in the dating market is to integrate both of these ideas. You want to integrate them. You want to check both boxes because the rare man offers both spark and safety. And if you can become the rare man who offers both spark and safety, you are going to do phenomenally in the dating market. So if you are a guy, practically speaking, who is offering safety and no spark, and you want to get the benefits of the narcissistic man, this is what you want to do. You want to keep the safety, right? But you also want to cultivate traits like charisma, dressing well, having a sense of humor, learning social skills. Just start talking to everyone so you can start building that social muscle up, right? Get in good shape. Learn how to talk to women. Be able to create boundaries. Learn how to be very present in a conversation. Learn how to tell women no instead of defaulting to yes every time they ask you for something. Work on your neediness. Understand that you are complete without a relationship, without any kind of romantic interest, and then come to relationships and romantic interest from that place as a whole individual. And doing so will help you both check the box of spark and safety so you can become a lovable narcissist, right? So essentially what I'm saying is I'm not advocating for people to be narcissists, obviously, right? That's clickbait. What I'm advocating men to do is to learn the lessons that the bad guys, the narcissistic men teach without becoming that. Because when you do integrate both, when you do offer spark and safety, when a woman engages you, when you go on a date with her, she's not going to know where you came from. She's going to be absolutely wowed by the experience. Like, I didn't even know men like you were made. That's going to be the experience because you're going to give her all of the positive emotions that the narcissistic guys give her without pushing her away due to a lack of emotional intelligence, empathy, yada, 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 right? So trust me, guys, if you do this, it will absolutely change your life. Again, until next time, be great.